Thank you very much, everybody. I'm Ron Jackson, and welcome to my acoustic guitar Facebook takeover tonight. And it's going to be a really fun night. We had some issues here. I live in New Jersey, actually, everybody, right over the bridge in New York City. We actually had a power outage 10 minutes before this, and I'm back. So I'm so glad that I'm actually back because we're online, and we're going to have a special guest named Sean Mcgowan up a little bit later. And that song I played for you just now was called The Bucket Blues, okay? And that was a song that I featured on one of my last albums I'm going to be talking about. It's an all-acoustic guitar album, okay? So I'm Ron Jackson, just so you know who I am. I'm the #1 7-string jazz guitarist in New York City, and I'm so proud to be actually an acoustic guitar writer and contributor for the last 6 or 7 years right now, and I've written over 20 articles for them and their magazine, as well as books and etc. And I'd like to talk to you about a few things, about myself before we keep going. For example, tonight we're playing all acoustic guitars. So tonight I'm going to be using my Ibanez 7-string right here, and in the back here I have my Cremona 7-string. Okay, so if you have any questions later, I'm going to actually answer them for you. But so I'm using those two guitars. Now, people are going to ask me questions about these guitars, and you're gonna want to know about them because I used to play 6-string as well, and I still do. But I'll tell you the reason why I play 7-string in a minute. Now, I'd like to thank Acoustic Guitar Magazine because we're actually celebrating their 30th anniversary. So I'm proud to be part of that anniversary, and I'm actually doing one of their first live broadcasts in a long time on Acoustic Guitar Magazine. And welcome people on the West Coast, in Central Time, and Mountain Time if you're watching, okay? Now, I just want to tell you about myself a little bit before I bring Sean on and I play another song. I'm a composer, producer, instructor, and, of course, a contributor at Acoustic Guitar Magazine. I teach privately, okay? And do me a favor, definitely do support Acoustic Guitar, please, at that link on the page here because they do great stuff. You can get subscriptions from them. They offer tours when everything opens up, and they sell all kinds of books, and they have a great magazine. Okay, now so I actually teach for them. I mean, I write for them, and also I'm a private teacher, and I offer lessons online and also via my Patreon account. Okay, for lessons up to $3 and up. Okay, also I'm a CEO of an independent record label called Ronnie Music, where I have 6 albums out. And my last album that you see here is called Standards and Other Songs. It was actually on that label that I just, on my label, and it was a top 100 in the Jazz Week charts last year. So, check that out if you get a chance. And I'll be playing 2 songs from the record later on in the program for you guys, okay? So, also, I'd like to make another announcement. My granddaughter, who's actually 2 years old, just released music on her debut YouTube channel called Leah Patatina, Leipatina, and you should check that out. And I'm writing some music for that. My daughter is the singer, and I'm the guitarist and producer for that. So anyway, we're here to celebrate Acoustic Guitar's 30th anniversary, and I want to tell you a little bit how I got into the acoustic guitar. Okay, I actually started playing the acoustic guitar when I was about 11 years old. I saw John McLaughlin, Paco de Lucia, and El Di Meola when I was a kid, and that blew me away, and I was really into their playing. Okay, and I love that kind of stuff they were doing, and I saw Paco de Lucia, and he was amazing. He passed away recently. El Di Meola and John McLaughlin. I actually got to meet John McLaughlin. He was a great acoustic guitar player, and they should bring him on acoustic guitar. They probably have had him on there, but that's how I got into acoustic guitar. And for example, like some other people I really like are Chet Atkins, Leo Kottke, and Michael Hedges. And that first song that I played for you tonight was called "The Bucket Blues." Okay, and that song was actually on my record called Acoustic Invent Yours, which is this one. When I first started working for Acoustic Guitar Magazine, they actually reviewed this album, okay? And that's on there. And that album, I'm only playing 6-string guitar, but I'm playing 7-string tonight. So everybody's asking me questions like, what is a 7-string guitar, okay? And, I want to put a shout out to some people watching right now. There's a Bob McWilliams is watching, my good friend from Kansas City Radio. Show his comment, please. And he's up there watching. And and thank you, Bob, from Kansas Public Radio. He played my record last year, and he's played it last night, actually. Sorry. So thank you, Bob. And give him a hand up. Thanks to all my friends watching tonight. Okay, and now, so I got into a 7-string guitar because I was playing a lot with this studying with this guitar player out in New York that passed away this year, unfortunately, Mr. Bucky Picciarelli. He passed away in April, and he was teaching me 6-string guitar, copying like Freddie Green, like this. That kind of stuff, okay? And at the same time I was studying with him, you know, he was actually playing with Les Paul a lot. And I knew Les Paul really well too. And man, he was great. Les Paul, you know, he was a great guy. He had perfect pitch. You know, he always had rock stars showing up, you know, to his gig, like Slash and all these people, because they play all these Les Paul guitars. So Bucky, the whole time I was studying with him, was always trying to con me into playing the 7-string guitar. So I was like, oh man, I don't want to play that thing. That's too hard. You know, and 6-string is hard. You know, but if you want to play 7-string, you better learn the 6-string pretty good, because this is really, I'm still working on this thing. So anyway, so finally we did a concert. This was back in the early 2000s. So, well, actually late 2000s. I started playing the 7-string guitar in 2012 after a concert we did together with him and Ed Lobb, another great 7-string player that accompanied Bucky. And so what happened was I picked up an Eastman 7-string, and who I endorse actually too right now. And what happened was he told me to tune the guitar string, the 7-string, to a low A. Okay. Now I was like, low A? That's weird, man. Like, why low A? Because he said George Van Eps tuned it that way, and that's how jazz guys play it. And you just basically double the A string. So if you're playing a C chord, everybody, you have that low C there now, okay? Yeah, so that's how I really got into playing 7-string guitar. We can talk more about it later. So please send your questions and comments on the comments here, and we're going to answer your questions a little later when Sean's up, because I'm looking forward to hearing Sean, man, myself too. And okay, I want to talk to you real quick before I go on about this book that I'm in with Sean. It's called Chords at Your Fingertips. Both me and Sean are in this book. Okay, and we're going to be talking about that book later, and also another book that's out, that's actually on the Acoustic Guitar website. It's called Guitar Scale and Mode Mastery. You could buy that on the Acoustic Guitar website, and we're both in there. And we you know, there's some great lessons in there for scales and chords. So before we bring Sean up, I'd like to play a song that's off my album Acoustic Invent Yours. It's an acoustic guitar record. On that record, it's all 6-string, but I've transferred everything to the 7 strings. So this is going to hear the bass lines and everything on this 7-string. And remember, I'm only playing acoustic through this mic that I'm actually talking through. So let me start this off. Okay, I'm going to start this song right now. you very much. Yeah. Before we bring up Sean, if you're enjoying this broadcast, please donate $1 or more to the following links on my page that you see right now under Ron Jackson Music. Now, let's bring up our special guest, Mr. Sean Mcgowan. Let me bring him up right now. Oh. Okay, you see that? There you are, Sean!
All right. Hey, Ron.
Well, that was some hard work, Sean.
Sounds great. I'm just sitting here and I'm having a party.
Oh, yeah, you are. I wish, what I felt like before, not like partying, like having a few drinks.
Yeah, exactly.
Because a minute ago, it was funny because a minute ago, I was in a complete dark. I had to find like this light to put together because we had a power outage here. We have this tropical storm here called Faye, and she just showed up right before we had to perform tonight. But I'm glad you're here, Sean.
I'm glad we're here too, and I'm glad the power came on. Although we could have done it with that little camper light that you had. That would have been cool too.
yeah, it would have been. Yeah. So Sean, I just actually. I've known you for a long time, and I know you've been writing a long time for the magazine. Tell us, give your audience some, tell us about yourself a little bit, please.
Sure. Yeah. So my story is very similar to yours in that I had been a fan of the magazine all through the 90s, and I subscribed to it, and I loved reading the magazine. I really loved how, the diversity of it. They would profile jazz guitarists and bluegrass guitar players and blues and singer-songwriters and classical guitarists even, which I don't think any other magazine at that time, especially leading into the 2000s, was doing that, covering players that I wanted to really know more about instead of pop stars, you know what I mean? And in terms of my own journey with the acoustic guitar, same thing, I was into all of the same players that you mentioned, as well as for me, a lot of solo fingerstyle players like Chet and Michael Hedges and Alex DeGrassi.
Wow,
but also for me in the jazz realm, it was Tuck Andrus and especially Earl Klugh. And, most people know Earl for his, like smooth jazz stuff, but man, he's such a fierce, incredible solo guitar player, Yeah,
what's funny about that? I forgot about him because sometimes you forget about him because he was always backing up George Benson.
Mm-hmm.
And I have some incredible. You've heard those incredible recordings with them together.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Well, so I always loved acoustic guitar in the context of jazz, and you didn't hear it a whole lot. Although people like Kenny Burrell. A lot of people will play nylon string, but Kenny Burrell also would play steel string on record and in concert. I saw him live when I lived in LA, and he brought a little OM. He had this Martin OM that he brought to the gig.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really cool. And of course, people like Bolasete, he's lesser known.
Oh, yeah.
He played with Dizzy, and he played on the Vince Guaraldi records. And so I've just always been kind of attracted to that voice, in addition to the voice of the archtop, of course. So, so I started back in 2002. Acoustic Guitar used to have this contest that they did. It was called Homegrown Heroes or something.
Oh, yeah, you won that contest, didn't you?
Yeah, and I had just released my very first CD in 2001, and it won. And so that's how I started my relationship, I think, with the magazine. And then I started writing articles for them in 2004, I believe.
Wow.
And been writing ever since. So they're great magazine, great people. I love them.
Oh, yeah. This is their 30th anniversary issue, everybody. Take a look at this. Everybody support
happy anniversary. Woo!
And Alex DeGrassi, I love that guy's a monster. I love him, man.
Yeah, actually, Alex is a friend now, and
wow,
a longtime hero. But he and I were supposed to start this weekend teaching at his workshop. I was going to co-teach it with him in Mendocino, and of course, like every other festival and camp, that got canceled until next year. So fingers crossed that we can get back to it next summer. But Alex has a new album out too, and it's killer. It's great.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. So what guitar are you be playing for us tonight? So
right now, I don't know how much of this you can see it, but this is a Bourgeois made in Maine by Dana Bourgeois and his incredible team. This is a Bourgeois. It's his OMC, which is a cutaway OM. So it's the same specs as an OM, but with a cutaway. And this is their Style 42 model. And this is really cool. It's got like this really beautiful white spruce top. And then a super cool Tasmanian blackwood back. I don't know if you can see it. Sorry about the glare there.
No
but
problem.
it's so beautiful. It looks like koa almost. And,
Oh wow, nice.
You know, for me, as I'm sure it's the same for you, like first and foremost, it's the sound and the playability over like the you know, the looks, but aesthetically it's such a
yes, it looks great, man.
Yeah.
I want to ask you a question. So talk about your books a little. Oh, you actually, you know what? Before we do that, well, we can talk about the books after. I want you to play a song for us.
Okay, man.
We want to hear you play, man.
Yeah, I know we're on a schedule here, so let me play a little bit and then we can.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah,
right,
move back just a little bit so we can see your fingerboard.
Okay, is that okay? All right.
You can move back a little bit. Yeah, that's great. Great.
Hang on. All right.
Yeah. So, what song are you gonna play for us today?
I'm going to play a song that's a pretty well-known jazz standard called "On the Street, On the Street Where You Live," and it's from My Fair Lady and my most recent CD. I have a nice.
You can show us that CD. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all solo guitar, and it's songs from the My Fair Lady musical. And this was a lot of fun to put together. So this is a tune from that record called "On the Street Where You Live."
Great. Hey, Sean, that sounds great, man.
Thank you.
You know, that reminds me. I want to tell you this story. Everybody should hear this one. When I was at Berklee College of Music years ago, Joe Pass did a workshop.
Wow.
And man, it was funny, man. He played the classical guitar, and then he played the and then the jazz guitar. And he was great with his fingers and the pick. And it was funny. We all, there's a bunch of students there. So one of the guys said, "Hey, Mr. Pass, can you play giant steps?" And so he said, "You know what? I don't have anything to prove." He was amazing, man. He did all that fingerstyle stuff. Really, I mean, he was like the master with that solo. He sounded so great, man.
Yeah. Oh, really. Thanks. Yeah, thanks, Ron.
Let's a big shout out to my friends watching over here, Lafayette Harris and one of my students, Reggie Hagee. Just big shout out to them. They enjoy your playing too, man. And Robert enjoyed your playing too. He says, "Sweet." You see that? Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. You sound great, man. I want to ask you a question. Tell us where you can get some of your books and stuff. Like, do you have those available?
Yes, you can get everything right from my website, which is SeanMcGowanGuitar.com.
Yeah.
And I have a little store on there, and you can buy recordings and instructional books, and also, thanks. There's the banner right there.
Yes.
Also, I have a number of courses available on TrueFire.com, but you can check those out right on my website. So yeah, I've been very fortunate to write a few books, actually 3 now for acoustic guitar, not including the ones that we're in. But I have this method that I did a couple years back called the Acoustic Jazz Guitarist. Oops, kind of backwards in the thing, but that's available on the acousticguitar.com store or on my website. And then this one's been out a few years now. This is one that really specializes in fingerstyle jazz guitar. So there's a lot of different lessons in here about building bass lines and comping and soloing, and there's also some style chapters that talk about Joe Pass as well as Wes Montgomery. And Wes isn't known as much as a solo guitarist, but the few solo recordings that he did were incredible. And so we talk about how to kind of play like a big band in the style of Wes Montgomery. And then finally, I just wanted to mention real quick, this one just came out last year. This was a PDF video project that we did, and Stringletter decided to publish it. And it's this really nice collection of holiday songs, as you can read there, for fingerstyle guitar. And the difficulty is like easy. There's easy arrangements up to, I'd say intermediate and maybe a couple of advanced songs. But I really wanted to stretch it out a little bit between very well-known songs like "O Come All You Faithful" and "Jingle Bells" and "Joy to the World," with some lesser-known holiday songs such as "The Cuddy Wren," and there's some old songs from Spain and France, as well as some Thanksgiving songs in there. So you can check this out, and this is a great time to start getting your holiday songs together. Besides that, holiday music isn't, no one's burned out. We're not saturated with holiday music yet. So this is a wonderful time to just kind of get into the holiday spirit, especially if you're stuck at home. And this is a nice time to just practice those tunes. So yeah, that's what I have with acoustic guitar. And all of those books, as you know, come with video and audio downloads. So it's an incredible learning resource. All of these books that you and I are a part of, the ones I just mentioned, now that back in the day, they all came with DVDs, right? And now they all come with downloadable audio and downloadable video.
They have everything.
Yeah, actually, so it's pretty amazing.
It's really funny. This is actually one of my students right here, Max. He's on there right now. Say hi to Max. He has the book. And
hey, Max. All right. Cool.
Yeah, and also my student Reggie. He's up there.
Hey, Reggie.
Let me show him if I can find him. Anyway, Reggie's watching.
All right.
He actually has the book, and they enjoy the book. So
good. I'm so glad. Awesome.
Yeah. I mean, they enjoy your work, and I really enjoy your work. Does anybody have any questions for us? Because please ask us. Send us a comment. I don't see anything yet. Nobody is asking any questions yet, but I hope someone does soon. Because about my 7-string or anything or anything like. For example, I just pulled out my Cremona 7-string. Everybody, because and actually my student Max. It sounds great.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, and my student Max actually picked up one of these guitars.
I'm afraid of the 7-string. It's too much. But
tell us what.
Oh man, it's just so hard dealing with a 6-string guitar. I mean, it's standard tuning and 6 strings that's all I can wrap my head around. I have all I can do to play in alternate tunings even. But I have a friend here. I live in Denver. A friend who studies deeply 7-string Brazilian guitar. And there are a lot of those cats from Brazil that play choro with a 7-string, and it's what a sound.
Yeah. So what I was going to ask you. So I just want to tell you something. In Brazil, they tune the 7-string to a C.
Oh.
Yeah. See, I tuned mine to an A, which is the way George Van Ness played.
Right.
So that it's really a much lower note. So, what's your favorite tune to play? Someone's asking. Oh, that's
Giant Steps, of course.
Just kidding. Yeah. So anyway, what was I going to say? If you'd like to play a song right now, that would be great.
Okay. Yeah. You want me to play something?
Yeah. One more song.
Okay.
And and that'll be great.
All right.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Let's see. Okay, this is a song also from the My Fair Lady soundtrack, and this is I Could Have Danced All Night. But with this one, I was also inspired, of course, by Oscar Peterson. He made a record of the My Fair Lady songs. But I decided to do this when I was thinking about dancing all night. I immediately kind of defaulted to samba or like Brazilian grooves, So I decided to arrange this tune in kind of a samba style. So here it is.
Okay, great. Yay, Sean. Very nice. Very nice. Wow.
Thank you, Ron.
Yeah, there were a couple of questions there.
Okay.
Sean often, you see that question? Sean often asks, when did you get interested in music in general and guitar in particular?
Yeah, it probably sounds cliche, but I've loved music as long as I can remember. Honestly, I really didn't go to church much when I was a kid, but I was part of a church choir, so that certainly influenced singing in my ears and the acoustic. I just loved being a part of that experience. When I was little, I had this little portable record player that played 45s, and where I lived, you could go to the department store and they had this section up front where you could buy all these 45s.
Where are you from originally?
I'm from Maine, actually.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and
Maine.
So,
that's where Stephen King's from.
I'm actually from there. I'm from Bangor. So,
Whoa.
Yeah.
I'm saying,
so man, I listened to everything. I mean, I was into blues and Stevie Wonder records, and I had Donna Summer records and Queen and ABBA and all of this stuff in the 70s. And
that's great, man.
And then so the guitar later on for me, I just loved it. There were, back in those days, even in Maine, even in a small town of Maine, there was lots of live music around and lots of there were musicians and much more now than now, I think. And so anyway, I just really was attracted to the guitar and wanted to play. And then even through high school, like I mentioned, I was even living in Maine. I was very fortunate to see, I saw B.B. King and Ray Charles. I mean, he's a guitar player, but just that experience,
That's great. It's so funny, yes.
And those all had a big impact on me.
It's really funny. I was completely opposite. I was like into rock. So I saw all Van Halen and all those bands, crazy bands. I was serious. There's another.
I love them too, and I still do. It's like, wow.
It's funny. One of my students, Max, is asking, why do Brazilians like Yamadou Costa tune the 7th string to a C? I'm not quite sure, actually, but I know in Brazil, they tune to a C, and in rock, they tune to a low B. And in jazz, right. Yeah. Now, I want to tell you what Bucky told me about the 7th string guitar before we wrap up with you. Bucky said to me that the 7th string guitar is the new guitar, and the 6th string guitar is the old guitar. Now Bucky is like telling me this. He's like 80 years old, right? And he's telling me this. So I mean, because it's interesting because you can't play in the low register with the 7th string and with the 6th string guitar that low. Yeah, right. And I love it when you're playing. Like you're playing, you go. You can just go right there. It's just amazing. But anyway, thanks, Sean, for coming up. Thank you. Find Sean on his websites. Please buy his stuff. Please follow Sean everywhere. Sean Mcgowan Guitar. He has everything there. Follow him on Facebook. He does a concert every week. You do on Facebook? Yeah, just real quick. You have my Facebook posted there, and every Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern time and 1 p.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Mountain time, I do an hour-long show called Guitars and Coffee, where I just hang out and play some tunes, offer a mini lesson, and answer questions, and it's just like having coffee with a friend. Great, man. So thank you, Sean, for being on the show. Thank you, Ron. I appreciate it. Yeah. Yeah, and I'm really glad that we hooked up like this. We never met in person, but we e-meet. Yeah. Well, I'm sure someday Acoustic Guitar is going to take us all on a giant cruise, a giant party cruise when we're all past this. And I hope so. We can hang out. Okay. You got that, Nick? Yeah. Thank you. All right. Okay. I'll see you soon. Say bye to Sean. Thank you. Have a good day. Okay, everybody. It's Ryan Jackson here. I'm going to continue with my Chrome on a 7th string guitar. Here we go. Yeah. Thank you, everybody. If you enjoyed the show with Sean and me and everybody else in Acoustic Guitar Magazine, please donate $1 or more to the following links on the page right here. And before we continue, if there's any more questions, please let me know. That was a song called Moon Dance, okay? And that's obviously off my last album that's called Standards and Other Songs, which was a top 100 album. And also, I'd like to thank very much Mr. Adam Perlmutter, my editor at Acoustic Guitar Magazine. He actually did a great review of my album. Actually, not a great review. He did actually a feature of myself on Jazz Times Magazine last year about the 7-string. And I really appreciate that, Adam. Thank you very much, okay? Before you became the editor at Acoustic Guitar. Oh, yeah. My student, Julia Lickblau, just gave me a rousing applause. And thank you, Julia. Let's shout out to Julia. And she enjoyed Sean's playing as well. You know, love the rendition of I Could Have Danced All Night. And, of course, Moon Dance. Thank you, Julia, for watching. You know, if you guys have any questions, please let me know. Also, before I finish up, you know, I'd like to really thank Acoustic Guitar Magazine for having me. And I see Sean there still. And I really appreciate them having me host this show. And we're celebrating their 30th anniversary they actually started back about, I think, in the summer of 1990, and they produced some great material. And I really, if you can support them, that would be great. If anybody has any more questions, let me know. If not, I want to play you one more song. Also, I'd like to give special thanks before I finish up to, of course, Mr. Adam Perlmutter, the editor, and Mr. Nick Grizzle, who's actually helped me with the program this tonight. And we did a lot of sound checks for this. This took a lot of organization. Okay, and I really appreciate everything that you guys have done. Also, I'd like to thank the publisher, a good friend of mine, Mr. David Lusterman. They have a lot of different publications. If you check it out on stringletter.com, I think they have ukulele, drum, classical guitar, and I'm probably missing something. There's another one, of course, acoustic guitar, and they're a great publication. String Letter Media, please follow them, okay? So I'm going to play one more song, and then I'm going to get back and get going here after, okay? So here we go. This is off my last album, and this is called The Best Thing for You Is Me. Here we go. I'm clapping the wire. There's one more question here. Who has a question here? Oh, okay, Robert. Okay, oh man, good. I'm glad you caught me before I finished here. Robert, so how long have you been playing? And this has been a lot of fun. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Robert. I really appreciate it, man. I've been playing since I was about 11, actually. I was actually playing a lot of acoustic guitar and doing a lot of composition. And I was into rock. I was in a rock band in the Boston area, and I was getting into some trouble playing with these rock bands, and hanging out too late and going to these concerts, all night with my friends. But then I said, I woke up and I started playing jazz. One of my friends actually, was listening to like George Benson and Pat Metheny. I went to see a Pat Metheny concert when I was in high school. And what was really funny was that Pat Metheny was actually warming up for Miles Davis. So I got to see Miles Davis. And Mike Stern, all these great musicians were playing in that band. I'm actually thinking about taking a lesson with Mike Stern because I heard he's offering lessons right now. Anyway, so that's how I got started. I was about 11. And so now I guess I've been playing for about 44 years. It's a long time, I'm still learning how to play. So thanks for the question. Anybody else have any other questions? Oh, yeah. Bob McWilliams. He says he loves his Irving Berlin tune. You played that version last night. Thank you. So I'm going to play for you live right now on the 7-string guitar by myself. And this is hard. This nylon string is a beast here, actually, but it's a great guitar, man. And it sounds great without being plugged in. Thank you very much, everybody. Let's give a big hand for Acoustic Guitar for having me. Please celebrate their 30th anniversary. Let's thank Sean Mcgowan, the great guitar player, Sean Mcgowan. It was wonderful having him as a guest. And that's a wrap, everybody. So please make sure you ensure that Acoustic Guitar is around for another 30 years. Okay? And thank you for joining me. Let's stay connected, okay? Please follow, please, if you want to have any questions after this, you can email me at ronjacksonmusic@gmail.com. You can also follow me on social media everywhere at Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. And one last thing, if you're interested in lessons or anything, I have a new Patreon page, which is patreon.com/ronjacksonmusic. And of course, if you'd like to make a donation, you can make a donation to any place that says Ron Jackson Music on PayPal and everywhere else. Thank you very much, everybody. And I really appreciate it. Oh, thank you, Robert. I'm so glad that you're a fan of mine now. And thank Acoustic Guitar. They're a great magazine. They're great people to work for. And we'll see you guys soon. Have a good night, okay? Huh? Oh, does someone have a question? Does anybody have a question? Okay. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for the great comments. Appreciate it. Thank you.